Good afternoon, everybody. I'm here to speak on the policing of this year's Christmas and New Year's holidays. The BPS police report that this year during the Christmas public holiday that it passed well with few public order events and incidents, and for that we would like to thank the public for their support. There was of course one serious incident of robbery that most people will be aware of, and we are actively following up, and of course I would reiterate our request for any witnesses that was put out yesterday. Throughout the Christmas long weekend, the Bermuda Police, assisted by the Bermuda Reserve Police, deployed extra crime prevention patrols with the intent of reducing incidents of violence and antisocial behaviour and making Bermuda safer. Whilst there were some minor incidents of violence in and around licensed premises, they were swiftly and robustly dealt with, and there were no serious injuries reported. Significant attention was also focused on Bermuda's roads, and a number of persons were arrested on suspicion of impaired driving during the period. Going forward into the New Year weekend, we wish to advise the public that we will be continuing in the same vein. Supported by the Bermuda Reserve Police, we will continue to show a strong, highly visible presence throughout this long New Year's weekend. Police resources will be visible through the festivities on Saturday night and the football games on New Year's Day. Patrols will again be paying particular attention to the offences of impaired driving this weekend, and we ask the motoring public for their patience when travelling on the roads this weekend if they get caught up in the road checks that we will be putting on, which are designed to keep our roads safe. I would also like at this stage to bring to the attention of the motoring public that following the New Year's holiday weekend, the police service will be ramping up our response to the new legislation regarding the use of handheld mobile phones and other handheld devices and their use while driving. Everyone is of course now aware of the legislation and the penalties for contravention of that legislation, and the Bermuda Police Service will be out on the roads following this weekend rigorously enforcing these new rules. I therefore urge the motoring public to take the time now to think about their behaviours in regards to using cell phones and other devices while driving, and modify that behaviour accordingly before they get a ticket from us or another collision takes place. And on behalf of the Commissioner of Police, I would like to wish the public a safe and happy New Year.
Good day, everyone. On behalf of the Bermuda Road Safety Council, I would like to extend our heartfelt best wishes to Bermuda for a prosperous new year in 2012. It is an honor and a blessing to live in a time such as this. The new year signals new beginnings, new challenges, and fresh new experiences that we all can embrace. Bermuda, let us seize the opportunity to embrace this new year by pledging to drive better, drive smarter, drive safer. Our focus during this holiday season was making sure to be there to make memories, highlighting the family spirit throughout the island. We reflected on how truly precious life is. Bermuda, let us continue as we go into the new year with that same ideal, cherishing the moments we have together and making healthy decisions. The Bermuda Road Safety Council encourages all the Bermuda Road Safety Council encourages all of the motoring public to adhere to the rules of the road. Slow down and take your time. Secure your helmets correctly, fasten your seatbelts, and please don't drink and drive, i.e. using designated driver's taxis and the like. Celebrations are better when we all can enjoy them. Additionally, the Bermuda Road Safety Council would like to inform the public that our friends from the Bermuda Police Service will be out enforcing the rules of the road, including the new cell phone legislation. This enforcement initiative, focused on cell phone use while driving, will be the specific target of all officers and will commence January 4th, 2012. The penalty for the offense is a $500 fine with possible driving disqualification, as well as demerit points placed on your license. The Bermuda Road Safety Council and its members encourage every individual to adhere to the law and drive safe this holiday weekend and throughout 2012. If we all commit to improving our own driving habits, we can create safer roads for all of Bermuda. Again, we encourage all of you this holiday season to be safe as well as we go into the new year. Thank you.
Questions? You mentioned during your speech that you're going to be ramping up the looking out for the law as far as the handheld devices are concerned. There seems to be some confusion or misunderstandings as to how the law is applied and what's allowed, what's not allowed as far as hand-free devices as such. Can you explain it a bit more to the public?
Well, as I mentioned, we will be ramping up our response to the new legislation. We have already been enforcing the new legislation. However, we're going to be ramping that up following the New Year's holiday, and we're going to be strictly enforcing all of the offences that are in that new piece of legislation. The law is very clear, the way it's written, that any use of handheld mobile phone or other handheld devices whilst driving is an offence, and we will be ticketing for all those offences.
So would that mean that a hands-free unit is okay?
The legislation as is written doesn't cover the use of hands-free devices. It's specific about using the mobile phones. There's no mention of hands-free devices in that, and we have taken legal advice from the Director of Public Prosecutions, and we will be enforcing the law as it's written.
Have people begun to be ticketed as yet?
Yes, they have.
Any idea on how many numbers of...
No, I don't have that information to hand, I'm sorry.
Where concerns bike riders, bikes that are riding along with wearing headphones, so not necessarily handling the unit, but wearing headphones, is that against the law?
Again, the legislation doesn't speak to headphones, it just speaks to the use of the handheld device whilst riding or driving.
Thank you very much.
Okay. I guess just
So, sorry, I had one question. Are there going to be random breath checks over the New Year's holiday?
The law as it stands doesn't account for random breath tests. However, we will still continue to do the checks for impaired driving the way we have done in the past.
Tomorrow night, tomorrow night or tonight is it? Tonight in St. George, they got a big party down at, they call it Roadblock Party. And where it is that police will be out in full force by Molly Bay conducting a large roadblock. What exactly are you going to be looking for?
As you say, rumour has it that we'll be doing certain things. Our response to large gatherings at any time of year is to robustly police both the gathering itself and the people coming in to and fro from those events to make sure that they're not carrying anything prohibited in the way of weapons. As you're aware, we have legislation that covers that under Section 315 of the Criminal Code that allows us to stop vehicles in anticipation of violence. And obviously, where we're aware of large events, we will be policing those events. I cannot say whether we will be having large roadblocks. We don't actually do roadblocks per se. We have road checks where we'll pull certain vehicles over as per the legislation. We will be out this whole weekend, specifically on the 31st. However, starting tonight, we will be out in large numbers and we'll have a highly visible, proactive response.